Hi, everyone. Today's production and consumption patterns follow a linear logic. First, we extract, we produce, we consume, and then we dispose. And unfortunately, a lot of the things that we use end up in a landfill. And while it has worked like this for decades, fortunately, companies have woken up because the way we consume and dispose is a disaster for the environment and also for us as an economy. My name is Amanda Birkenholz. I'm an early stage investor with UVC Partners. We invest pre-seed to Series A, both software as well as hardware, because we believe that software only will not solve the climate crisis. Today, I would like to discuss with two of our startups why it is the best time to innovate and how we can actually close the carbon cycle. Before we do that, I would like to also let you know about Unternehmertum, because UVC is part of the Unternehmertum ecosystem, which is the biggest and largest startup ecosystem in Europe. There are many initiatives, from educational programs to us as a VC, but also the connection to the industry. And one of them is actually Circular Republic, who's doing concrete projects between the established industry as well as startups to close the full cycle. So first, I would like to introduce my first guest, Maike Lambarth. She is the CEO and co-founder of Cyclize, a startup that defossilizes the chemical industry by turning plastic waste into syngas that is used for higher product chemicals. Welcome, Maike. And my second guest is Arthur Singer. He's the CEO and co-founder of Stabl Energy, a company that provides stationary energy storage and gives batteries an extended and second life. In 2021, we have raised the seed round, and we're the lead investor as UVC, and only this year, Stabl raised a 15 million euro seed round. Welcome, Arthur. So, my father actually was a collector of antiques, and among one of many things that he collected, one of them were actually shoes. And he didn't only look at them, he was also wearing them. And some of these shoes are over 100 years old, and to me it's really incredible to see that they were produced in such a high quality that they can still be used today. And then I look at my shoes, your shoes, and probably many of your shoes as well, and unfortunately we only use them for a few years, and then they end up in the trash and eventually in a landfill. And that's actually when Maike comes into the game, because Maike takes the trash from the landfill. So please, Maike, tell us a little bit about what you actually do with this trash.
Yeah, so Cyclize is interested in the really, really difficult waste streams, for example, shoes, where you have a lot of different types of plastic mixed together, sometimes glued together, sometimes added by metals or leather or whatever, and all those kinds of really difficult plastic or whatever waste, and we can recycle it back and use the carbon that contains in those products or waste streams and cycle them back into the system.
And what do you do with this? So what is the outcome of the recycling process?
Yeah, so we're using that waste streams together with CO2, which is also a carbon waste, and we reform it by using plasma. So the plasma is putting all the molecules in a new way together, reforming, and what we are creating is a syngas, and that's a mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen, and the basic building block of the chemical industry.
Okay, and then what can you do with the syngas? What is it actually for? I mean, if you're not in the chemical industry, probably many of you have never heard of it. But actually, I think, and you will tell us more, but it's actually a basis of most of the products that we actually use, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So nowadays we're using natural gas to produce syngas, and the syngas is used for a lot of different routes, like phosgene, methanol, hydrogen, and fuels. So the products that we probably know in our daily life is plastics, foams, colors, glue, and many, many more. Also fertilizer. There's plenty of products where all this right now natural gas goes in, and what we want to do is use the carbon that is existing in the system already, cycle it back, and replace the fossil feedstock.
Okay, and so as an investor, we see a lot of ways to do something, ways to X technology. So what is different in Cyclize?
Well, I think to things are quite different. First of all, we are able to use all the different types. There is no sorting or whatever necessary. And the other one is that we are able to produce the syngas for the same cost or even lower costs compared to the natural gas route. And that can be really a game changer for the transformation of the whole industry.
Okay, thanks. Well, Ato, you're actually not in the plastics business, but your product uses scarce materials, and you found actually a way to extend their lifetime. So tell us a little bit more about Stabl and what you do.
Yeah, so at Stabl we build and sell battery storage systems which are based on second life batteries. Second life batteries are batteries which have had their first life in a car, driving around, and then they can be used in stationary applications to support the grid and to make this renewable, volatile energy sources also usable during the evening or night hours. And what we do especially is we are a deep tech company. We're coming from power electronics, and our solution enables us to take out the risk of those old batteries. Because you have to imagine, my first speaker from custom cells and Porsche, they use 800 volts in their cars, but the lithium cell is only 4 volts. So to reach those 800 volts, they need a long chain of 200 cells. And all of you know a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. That means that if a single cell is bad, the performance goes down. And if a single cell has an issue, the chain breaks down, the car is not driving anymore. And our technology basically breaks up this chain. We don't have this big risk of a long chain. We have some short chains, and therefore we have way less risk, and we make it possible to also exchange those battery modules. If one battery module is weak, it can be bridged, and then it can be exchanged against whatever is available later. And in our eyes, it's the biggest lever to make real use of those batteries from cars. Because you say in a car, you use them until 80%, 80% state of health, and then you put it away, which is a huge waste, and we can go down to 50 to 60% SOH. So it's maybe a doubling of the lifetime of a battery.
And I can imagine you extend the lifetime, but you probably also save a lot of CO2, right?
Yeah, if you look at the numbers, there are different studies which say that if you go from first life to second life, you reduce the carbon footprint of battery storage by 70%, 70. So it's huge.
And then how much longer can the batteries be used?
Yeah, it depends. So if it comes out of a car, you can say you go down from 80% SOH to about 60, so it's a doubling. But what really is the game changer is that we get rid of those long chains. So if there is an issue, only a single part has to be exchanged and not all of them. So that's enabling this real longer use, and it brings up a lot of more resilience in the systems.
Nice. And I guess at some point the batteries still cannot be used anymore. So what happens then?
Yeah, then we give them to recycling, obviously. So we cannot do all of ourselves. And that's also something which is super important in this whole circularity market. You cannot do the value stream by yourself. You have to find partners to close the loop. And we, for example, you introduced the Unternehmertum. From Unternehmertum, there is an initiative, Circular Republic, which brings together players from all of the different value chain stages so that we can speak together and find projects which we can do together. Big automotive companies there. There is SAP, for example. There are different recyclers, which makes it really possible to take care of those scarce resources and also to become a bit more independent from China or other companies delivering all of those renewable energies.
Yeah, totally. I think circularity is a big topic, but it's also a very difficult field. And actually, to close the cycle, as you said, you cannot do it alone. So you need partners, and I think this is also a time where startups, they can really bring a lot of benefit because they are new, innovative, and fast, whereas some established companies, they just have longer development cycles. And I think this is a really great example of where both startups and established companies can work together and have a real impact. Last but not least, you both are building hardware startups in the circular space. So what are your wishes for actually making circularity a success?
Well, I would wish that there are more and more funds coming up that are brave, just like UVC it is, that do see the need, but also the opportunity in financing hardware startups, because CO2 is a physical issue, and therefore we need physical solutions.
Yeah, from my side, there is no silver bullet. There is not a single solution. So in the end, we have to work together. We have to speak. We have to build up networks and to also pioneer and try out stuff fast, because time is running out, and that's the only possibility to come to a solution.
Thank you very much.